It is good to see you again. Welcome to day 14 of the Great CICO experiment. Time is moving fast. We are already 2 whole weeks into this experiment, which means tomorrow is a shopping day as we will kick off week number 3 there. But already, just 2 weeks in, I am surprising myself by being able to put aside some myths and preconceived notions of what might happen if I make this switch to the standard American diet and do this challenge. So, part of the reason why this came to me is, first of all, I was curious. I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to document this so you all could see the calories in versus calories out debate played out in real life. But also, partially, I wanted to be able to overcome any fear or obsession I had about following a certain set of rules that tend to go around the fitness industry, as far as you have to eat these certain foods, you have to get this amount of protein, you have to time out your meals perfectly, you have to optimize your workouts exactly to this in order to get results. And so I'm kind of blowing the doors off of all of that. I'm putting aside all the typical things that a fitness influencer or fitness expert might suggest that you do to see how my body reacts to it. So, for example, eating 3 meals a day instead of 5 or 6, like a typical bodybuilder would. Eating 125 grams of protein or so a day instead of the usual eating 1 gram per pound of body weight, where I would normally have 200 to 250 grams of protein per day. And so far, strength is still consistent, even slightly going up. So being in a deficit and having strength be consistent is a good sign that we are being able to maintain our lean body mass, our muscle mass. So very excited about that. Of course, the final results will show and tell. I've taken measurements at the start as well of my chest, waist, arms, and so on. So we'll see how that compares at the beginning to the end. If the waist goes down dramatically and the chest and arms stay around the same, obviously we'll still lose some fat around there, then we'll know that we've made leaps and bounds of progress in that area. So, and then the other thing is just the quality of food, for lack of a better word. The types of food that I'm eating are so different than what is typically recommended when you're making a fitness transformation. Rather than having breakfast of eggs and oatmeal, then maybe a protein shake, then maybe some chicken and rice, maybe steak and baked potato and vegetables for dinner, things of that nature. We are having cereal and waffles and syrup and sandwiches and burgers, chicken fingers, mac and cheese, all these things that are going to continue to get crazier as the weeks go on, as I try and push the envelope of just like, what can I eat while still maintaining these results? Of course, staying in that calorie budget so that it is truly a calories in versus calories out experiment. So far, everything has been feeling pretty good. We had a little bit of an adaptation phase, as far as a bit of a headache on that first night, and then definitely a big time stomach ache on that second night. But after that, everything in my body seems to have adjusted, and we've been feeling great. Workouts have been going great. I'm making progress in the calisthenics moves, the bodybuilding workouts, which we've got one of those coming up today. So I will make sure to film some of that for you. We're continuing to make progress and feel good on those. And then the stretching and mobility and hand balancing workouts have made a world of difference as far as just tight areas in my body and joints. Everything is just feeling much more fluid and mobile. That tends to happen as well when you drop junk weight and get leaner to a certain degree. Your joints and everything just feels better as your body is lighter and more mobile. So anyway, I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too. We're only 2 weeks in, so that means that we still have another 10 weeks to go before the final results. We've already lost so much body fat. We're already making so much progress on everything else that I can't wait to document this entire journey, to see the results. At the end of this, I will put together a longer format video kind of going over the highlights of this entire experiment, so you can see from day 1 to day 90 exactly what happened along the way, any challenges that I've faced, and just the incredible results that I will have been able to achieve. So Anyway, let's dive into a quick mindset portion of this video. Then, as always, if you would like to skip to the muscle portion, which is bodybuilding style workout and the meals for the day, you can go ahead and skip to this timestamp right here. Otherwise, welcome to the mindset portion. For the mindset portion, what has been on my brain lately, the rabbit hole we're going to go down, is goal setting and what do you really want to achieve out of those goals. So what do I mean by that? A lot of times people will set goals for themselves that sound really good, that they think that's what they want, but upon further and deeper examination of yourself, those goals can lead you down a tunnel, lead you down a rabbit hole. You have to follow that until you find what your true desire and the true results of those goals are. So maybe I didn't say that clearly, so let me break that down a little bit more for you. For example, with me, if I say I want to be in great shape, I want to be a bodybuilder, that's a fairly vague goal. Okay, how do I know that I have achieved that goal? How do I know that I'm progressing towards that goal? How do I know when I've reached the finish line and it's time to set a new, an extension to that finish line of something new to chase, right? So that's where you have to set a specific goal. So for me, okay, I want to look like I'm able to step on stage, or I want to be a certain leanness that I could step on stage and do well in a physique competition. I want to have an aesthetic of a great V taper, right? I want to continue to get stronger in my bodybuilding workouts, and I want to continue to progress in leaps and bounds on calisthenics. That's kind of the new strength goal that I've set. Okay, so now I've set some more specific goals, but to what end, right? How do I know when I've achieved that? Sure, day by day I might be progressing and getting better, but what is the end goal of that, and why will that not make me happy, but why will that satisfy me? Why will that bring me that joy, that rush? So for some people, they might decide the end goal is a bodybuilding competition or a physique competition, or to do a certain number of muscle ups or master a certain calisthenics move. For me, my end goal is much bigger than that. So my end goal really doesn't have an end, but the result that I want to achieve out of this, as I continue to document these journeys, these experiments, is I want to get my body in the shape and condition that, first of all, I'm pleased with how I look all the time. So I'm not bulking and cutting, right? I'm never thinking, oh, I'm too fat to take my shirt off, or oh, I'm too skinny, I don't have a muscle to flex my bicep to get a good pump, any of that stuff, right? So that's part of the goal. Another piece is I want to have the flexibility to be able to travel to different countries. A big goal of my wife and mine, of my family, is to be able to travel different places and experience different things. So to do that with the restrictions of, oh, I have to be on a certain meal timing, I have to bring my meal prep with me, I'm going to go to Italy, but I'm only eating my pre-prepared chicken and rice and salmon and broccoli, right? Where's the fun in that? So I want to get my body to the point where it's able to utilize nutrients and calories from all sorts of different types of food, and still achieve incredible results, so that I'm able to live a free lifestyle where I'm able to enjoy the foods that I want to enjoy, where I'm able to time out the meals and what's convenient for me and doesn't interrupt fun things that might be going on during the day, while still achieving the results that I want to achieve. So I'm training my body right now to be able to do that. And while I'll always be doing bodybuilding style workouts, being in the gym 6 days a week, an hour or two every single day, just doesn't fit in with the lifestyle that I want to be able to experience and enjoy. So I want to have that physique while being able to maybe be in the gym 2 to 3 days a week. Working on calisthenics gives me that other challenge. I can do that pretty much anywhere, whether it's a small hotel gym or outside at a park. mobility and all of that can be done in the home. So that way, if I'm traveling, really I'm looking to use the gym maybe twice a week as I'm doing currently and still achieving all the results that I'd like to achieve. So maybe goal is a bit of a stretch in putting all this down, but these are just some of the things that I want to experience over the next few years, over the next 10 years. Hopefully, as you guys enjoy this journey and more people follow along, I'm able to start to do those things and document that for you guys. And so anyway, I want my body and my mind to be prepared for anything, to be able to live the best adventure and to step outside that robotic box that can get easy to be trapped into as a bodybuilder or a person of fitness who believes that you have to have a certain routine, you have to go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week, you are in the gym for an hour or two every single day, you have to get your 6 meals in a day, they have to consist of a certain amount of food, you have to get your exact amount of sleep. All of that stuff can be great if you're training for, let's say, the Mr. Olympia competition, or if that's something you really enjoy. But life is so much more than that. There's so much more to experience, and I want to live that adventure and experience that to the fullest while still looking my best. So this experiment is to prove to myself and to you guys who are following. Of course, the nutrition portion is a little bit to the extreme right now, but to prove to you all that you can have it all, that you don't have to put yourself in this tiny little box in order to achieve the results that you're after. So anyway, I know I said a lot of words in that period of time. Hopefully that made sense to you. But anyway, that is going to wrap it up for the mindset portion of today's video. Let's go ahead and dive into the muscle. Meal number 1 was a brisket bowl at our part-time job as a cook, so got to make it to order. Absolutely delicious as always. Pre-workout meal number 2 was a bowl of Cocoa Pebbles, the last Cocoa Pebbles of the box, so time for new cereal. Makes an absolutely fantastic pre-workout though. Get those quick sugars, simple carbohydrates for fast energy. We also used our Nutricross creatine monohydrate during the workout. You can see muscles, definition, everything starting to bulge and come in. Absolutely fantastically excited with the results and the progress I'm seeing. It's just ridiculous. So we started off with some incline Smith machine press. Then we moved on to some deadlift and shrugs as this was workout number A. Felt really good. No lower back pain, no hip pain. So the mobility routine is paying off. After that, we moved on to shoulders. We did a quad set of laterals. So we started off with traditional lateral raises with the dumbbells. We did 10 repetitions, just straight out to the side in a normal, very controlled, strict fashion, focusing on squeezing the side delts the entire time. After 10 reps there, we paused for a second, then moved on to slightly to the front lateral raises. So still out to the side, but bringing our arms a little more forward for another 10 repetitions. After that, in just a very brief pause, we moved directly into slightly bent over lateral raises, where we're coming back and just focusing on squeezing the rear delts as hard as possible. At this point, my shoulders are just absolutely burning to the max. But we weren't done yet because we had 10 more repetitions, and that was of partial laterals. You can see I had sweat dripping in my eye there, trying to shake it out, but I just had to close my eyes against that burn of the sweat and just focus on those side delts and pumping out the last few repetitions that I could absolutely muster. So when we reached 10, I felt like I had a couple more. We were trying to take it pretty darn close to failure here. So we just kept pushing until I couldn't get any more. My shoulders were just burning too much. Then we went ahead and were able to drop the weight and relieve ourselves of the sweat in the eye, get that wiped off. So fantastic set for shoulders there. Triceps, we also did a giant set. This was one that I learned watching Flex Lewis early on videos. So you start with the rope, pushing the rope apart for 20 reps, then the rope keeping it together for another 20 reps. Then you swap in a bar and you do reverse grip for 20 repetitions. Then you flip your hands over so that you're doing overhand on the bar for 20 repetitions. And then you finish off back with the rope with overhead tricep extensions for a final 20 repetitions. So altogether, it's 100 repetitions for triceps. So we went through that circuit 2 times, absolutely pumped the heck out of our triceps. Right now, we're focusing more on isolated, squeezy bodybuilding movements rather than going super heavy with these movements. But phenomenal giant set. Highly recommend you give it a try if you really just want to burn the heck out of your triceps. And we paired that up with a superset of dumbbell curls with dumbbell hammer curls. So that was our workout. Fantastic pump, fantastic workout. So we earned our post-workout meal, which was 2 Eggo waffles with some Mrs. Buttersworth syrup and our NutriCost whey protein shake. Of course, we measured out the syrup to the gram to make sure we were getting the amount of calories that we were supposed to be getting. And the peanut butter chocolate whey protein shake always hits the spot after the workout. Very refreshing and just rehydrating, and I just love it. The waffle was fantastic, but ended up dripping syrup on myself trying to film it. But oh well, fantastically delicious. I know I feel like I keep saying fantastic, but it was great. The final meal of the day, we have shopping trip coming up, so I was trying to put miscellaneous together. So we did a tortilla with some melted cheese and then some turkey sausage and 2 eggs and just toasted up into a breakfast quesadilla, and it was absolutely delicious. That is going to wrap it up for day 14 in today's video. So we finished the day off with 1,925 calories and 130 grams of protein, so met both of the goals there. I think the biggest thing I was excited about was just seeing how much definition and just how much my muscles are starting to push through the skin. I think visually, you have proof right here that this is working, that we're making progress. Clearly, I'm getting leaner. You can see more muscle separation and definition coming in, as well as losing weight. But clearly, I'm not dropping a ton of muscle too, because that pump was real. Like you can see the muscles pushing through the skin. So to be doing this all naturally, eating the standard American diet on this experiment, I think it's proof that the workouts are working. The way I have this formatted is working. And I'm just so excited to see how far we can take this. So anyway, sorry, had to jump on that because I really am. I am hyped up about this. But anyway, we are on call tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. As always, let me know if you have any questions or comments below. I would love to see those, and I will see you tomorrow for day 15.